No, I didn't say that. I said that I was very successful in most jurisdictions in gaining market share because I was doing a lot of polling, large sample polling, because I'm a numbers guy. I like to look at probabilities of success, and it wasn't just about winning the leadership. I had to see the path if I'm going to take the party into a contest with Trudeau where I had at least a high probability of winning. It would seem foolish, even selfish, to win the leadership knowing that I didn't have a clear path or high probability.
But why not the high probability?
Because if you look at the history, and I am a numbers guy, and I went back and looked at even the detail of the 2011 Harper victory, how that occurred with so few seats, because the likelihood of me of gaining a lot of seats in Quebec was low.
But
Okay?
that's what I'm saying.
Well, we don't have a bloc. We don't have an NDP anymore. We don't have that environment in Quebec. In my view, my assessment, my decision, is I needed 30 seats. We have 12. I had to grow the party's base in Quebec. And looking at my numbers, I was singularly unsuccessful there for whatever reason. And look, I thought I could have done better, but I didn't. And so I look at data and I say to myself, is this the right thing for the party? Is it the right thing for the country for me to do this? I wanted to win and I thought I could be the
But
leader.
if you're a numbers guy, why did it take you so long to figure out those numbers?
We just got the data. Remember, we just got the list. We just got it.
Well, about that, you have there's 16,000
Mr. O'Leary, Cynthia Mulligan, City News. I don't buy it. You don't really expect us to think that French Quebec factor is an issue when you've known this all along. What's the real reason?
No. The real reason is I only got the 12% in Quebec. That's a fact. Now you have to ask yourself, what is the likely outcome of only having maybe 11 or 12 seats or maybe less if I couldn't get support there? The truth about Canadian politics, and I don't have to tell you this, you people follow it. Look at how many times Quebec has determined the federal outcome in elections in this country. It is the Florida of Canada. It often decides for the country for the very reason it has 78 ridings. You have to have some path to being successful there. I looked at the probability, I felt it was low, I thought this was a higher probability. Max and I's policies are practically identical. We met last June. We've been a friendly competition since that started. This is the right thing for the Conservative Party.
Or did you look at Trump and realize it's not that much fun after all?
Listen, this is the hardest job I've ever had, but I was winning. But it's not good enough to win the leadership if you can't win the majority mandate. And look, anybody can look at the data, and you will now. The big surprise for all of us is how strong the party is. 259,000 plus members. That was a big number for all of us. The larger the number got, the harder it was for me, obviously, because I thought I had sold the most memberships at 35,335. But obviously it's a bigger number. But it doesn't change this fact. You have to have a path to a majority mandate if you're going to take on Justin Trudeau. To me, this is a battle of darkness and light, good and evil. That's the election in 2019. We want to bring forth the highest probability for this party to take back this country from a very weak manager who's destroying its economy. This is the man. He can do it.
How many members did you sign up in Quebec?
It was my lowest. I had my lowest there. I was at about 12% and as high as 34 in other provinces. I was weak in Quebec. It's a fact. People know this, and I was trying to spend as much time as I could there. Now, you know, in a campaign like this, you've got to go to many ridings. I have a business on Sherbrooke. I've got family in university there. I've got family that live there. I was there on weekends. I was there during the day. I tried to do the best I could. I really worked hard, and I couldn't move the needle.
With respect, you were in Toronto and Boston more often. Is it really fair to say you tried that hard, given you weren't there that often?
I'm an international investor. I want you to know, yesterday in New York City, I defended Canada's position in our trade relationship with that country on CNBC with Freeland. The two of us took Canada, made our country first, and argued our case to all the Americans. I'm a very well-known Canadian to Americans, and we have a case in this discussion we're going into in a trade war. Freeland, my political opposite, and I put country first, and we fought for Canada for a long time, for about 40 minutes.
You understand that there's a discrepancy here. On one hand, you're saying, I did my best, and I just didn't come close enough. On the other hand, you were saying, well, I'm going to do my best once I'm actually elected leader to learn French and to do better in Quebec. So what changed there that you learned suddenly that you weren't doing well?
No, I was watching the numbers, watching the growth, hoping that I could continue to grow as I was doing in every other jurisdiction. I was doing extremely well out west. My biggest challenge was to grow my base in Quebec. And in looking at the probability of winning, that was my problem. And it's not just winning, it's selfish to just take the leadership and say, great, I'm the leader. Now in 24 months, I will lose for the party. That's not right. That's wrong. This is a better outcome. And I think that's what we should do as a party. We're focusing on it. I'm going to do everything I can. I have some advantages of helping that with. I've been a big draw for young voters. Most of my voters are under 35 years old, the memberships I sold. That's extraordinary. When I showed up at universities, thousands of students showed up. This is power for our party. For the first time, we have a candidate, or at least a member, that can support a candidate and get young people out. Tell our story, because Trudeau beat us by getting 80% of those constituents to vote for him, and now they don't have jobs. This is a chance to bring them back into the Conservative Party to support this candidate.
So what are you going to do? What are you going to do to help Maxime win in English Canada?
Monsieur Gardien, à quel point est-ce que ça change dans votre vie? À quel moment est-ce que vous avez commencé à entretenir des
Bien,
discussions?
comme Kevin le dit, on s'est parlé à la fin du mois de juin. Je suis allé chez lui, à son chalet. On a eu 2 jours de rencontres, de discussions. Je lui ai présenté à l'époque la plateforme de ma mise en candidature, les idées économiques. Kevin a apprécié ces idées-là et à l'époque, il n'était pas certain de se présenter. Et puis, lorsqu'il s'est présenté, on a toujours gardé des bonnes relations. Ça a été un compétiteur féroce, mais amical. Et on s'est parlé dernièrement hier soir. Et effectivement, j'ai su comme vous que Kevin décidait de m'appuyer. Pour moi, bien, c'est un changement important dans cette course-là, parce que comme Kevin le dit, au Québec, les chiffres pour moi sont très bons parmi les membres du parti. Et la compétition que j'avais à l'extérieur du Québec, c'était par rapport à Kevin. Et là, on va unir nos forces pour être certain d'emporter cette course au leadership-là et après battre Justin Trudeau en 2019.
Est-ce que vous entretenez des discussions avec d'autres candidats présentement?
Il faudrait demander ça aux autres
Vous
candidats.
entretenez, vous avez des discussions avec d'autres gens?
Je ne répondrai pas à la question. Je suis ici aujourd'hui pour parler de cette annonce-là. C'est une très bonne annonce.
Comment vous conciliez votre position sur la gestion de l'offre? Parce que M. O'Leary n'est pas tout à fait d'accord avec vous là-dessus.
Bien, pour moi, c'est une position très importante. Et puis, je pense que Kevin about the supply management file, it's important for me, it's important for the party, and as you know, I want consumers in Canada to pay half the price for milk, poultry, and eggs, and that was the right position. That's the only position where we were not 100%. But, you know, all the other platforms...
And his stance on, you also criticized him, Mr. Bernier, on his stance on giving government money perhaps to Bombardier on corporate welfare. There have been many times during this campaign you've been very critical of Mr. O'Leary. But Mr. Bernier is the one who, during this campaign, was critical of your policies, Mr. O'Leary, and you're the one saying that you're
he was critical during a campaign. Welcome to politics. But we're in a civil war here until we pick a leader, and then we coalesce just like Mercury coming together. That's exactly what's going to happen.
He was my biggest opponent and a strong competitor. You know, I like competition. I like competition in the free market. I like competition of ideas, and we have a nice competition. We have a nice competition, and now we are together. Yes, and because I think you agree with a big majority of our platform, that's the only way to bring economic growth in this country and being sure that Justin Trudeau won't be there in 2019.
Mr. O'Leary, are you going to walk off into the sunset now? Are you going to walk off into the sunset?
I'm not walking anywhere.
Or are you going to stay
I'm totally
and help?
committed to finishing the job. I want Trudeau gone. I will do anything in my power to support him and the party to get rid of Trudeau. The ultimate goal is to leave with him out of power. That's 2019. And what the best thing I can do is, I've got a massive social media platform that really helped me. I came into this race and in 68 days was a competitor with Max. That's extraordinary in Canadian politics. It shows the power of the platform. I also can reach lots and lots of young people. For various reasons, the important thing is to be able to talk to them. I'll be doing that. Probably my best value is that, is to go and do what Trudeau did for 15 months before he got elected and rip all that support back from him. Why? They don't have jobs. And the chances of them getting work, 2 cohorts have graduated. Another one will soon graduate. The 4th will graduate by the time we're in 2019. None of them have any work, double-digit unemployment. Talk to them about their future, explaining how this is the solution. Trudeau gave them and promised sunny ways. No sunny ways, just a bare light bulb in their parents' basement where they live because they're unemployed. That's my message to them. We have a better idea.
Why
Mr. O'Leary,
Mr. O'Leary,
can you tell me why you're still
Mr. O'Leary,
fundraising?
can you please explain to us what prompted you at 1:30 in the morning to pick up the phone and call call Maxim Bernier? What was the clincher, and why did you think 1:30 in the morning was the time to do it?
Data, because we had
Like
just,
you were-
no,
you
what
fall
we had
asleep,
learned,
like
no,
what was-
you asked me a question,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
answer you, okay? I learned late last night, unbeknownst to many of the candidates, that the ballots had been mailed out. It seemed totally disingenuous if we're sending this out and even contemplating this merger, if you want to call it that, not to get it out in the street. I was planning to do this next week, and then go over the weekend, go through the debate, and decide what the outcome would be, and get more data, because we're getting the full list. None of us thought the list would be this big. The party's really grown. And remember, and I'm very proud of this, there are no fake members in this list. This is probably one of the first. I'll continue to use my soak about what matters to Canadians, and I'll also defend us to Americans who don't understand how important we are. I'm a unique situation. I am probably the most known Canadian that's on American television. And I'm going to talk about what we mean to Americans and how we should be considered in trade wars that we're about to enter into. This is important stuff, and it should become part of our conservative platform that we can deliver a better deal. I personally think the negotiations going on between Wilbur Ross, Donald Trump, and Trudeau is Godzilla versus Bambi. I've said that many times. It's going to be an ugly outcome.
Mr. O'Leary, I'm sorry, back to this phone call. Can you walk us through the phone call? So what exactly was the data that you received? What was the tone in Mr. Bernier? What did you tell him?
I knew the denominator now was large, much larger than we were doing our calculations on. Every candidate learned that. I also found out that the ballots dropped. It was time to talk.
Mr. Bernier, though, sir, are you being
And we are here today. We had a nice discussion yesterday, and we are here today. But it wasn't the first time. Like Kevin said, we were in touch during the campaign.
But you both accused each other of basically voter fraud. So it's nice that you're all saying that it was an amicable war. But
there are no fraudulent voters in that list.
It's not normal, I think, for somebody to call you at 1:30 in the morning, unless maybe you have other
In
habits.
politics all night long, are you kidding?
Really?
Absolutely. Why not? Pick up the phone, let's talk.
But you're being duplicitous. You talk at 1:30 in the morning, and then a few hours later, you send out a tweet asking for donations.
The fundraising will continue. It will continue.
And I will fundraise also with Kevin. We need money. We still have to campaign. There's 5 weeks in this campaign, and that's very important. And we want people to know our message. We have to be out there, and this is costly, so we need to fundraise.
But Mr. O'Leary was asking for donations for Mr. O'Leary's campaign.
And
meanwhile,
continues to,
regional
and will
money.
continue to. That is not unusual.
Kevin, what's your vision for Canada? What's your vision for Canada with the new partner? Can you tell us a little bit about the vision for Canada? How do you see it working?
Look, the point here is Canada has to change its mode of operations. The Conservative Party has to go back to more fiscal discipline. Max and I talked about this as the overall view. Think of the most successful countries on earth. Switzerland, Denmark, Finland. We're the population of California with twice the assets of the United States, and we're the most mismanaged country. We're plunging ourselves into debt. We've got a fellow running the place, and of all due respect, who has never read a balance sheet or income statement, never run a business, never had the compassion to understand how tough it is to do that. That's why Trudeau has to go. This is the man to replace him. I'm going to help him.
Mr. Bernier.
Kevin, why is this the guy to replace him? Can you tell us why you chosen this candidate to choose to support?
Just a quick question. Do you find it odd that people are kind of going, maybe you didn't really want this?
Are you kidding?
No, but seriously.
You think I would have done this for 4 months of my life?
You told me you didn't want to run for a job as an MP.
No, I said I was very clear. I was very clear. I said I want to deliver a majority mandate to the Conservative Party of Canada or fire me. I said that many, many
But
times.
you also said you didn't want a job as a member of Parliament. You signed on to another season of Shark Tank. So going in to rebuild a party takes a lot of work. And going to all these small towns would have taken a lot of time too. So do you
It did take a lot of time, because I did it.
Do you find it odd that people are now questioning you and saying, maybe he didn't really want this in the end, he wanted to be the kingmaker?
I'll be honest with you, I don't find anything odd anymore.
Mr. O'Leary, what's your next business venture? Do you have something in the hopper, and is that why you're leaving the race?
I actually have 40 companies I'm an investor in, and I have many young entrepreneurs I'm mentoring and funding. I will always be doing that. I would continue to do that. That's what we should be doing more of in Canada. That's what makes this country great in the first place. That's why it's not growing, because we're not supporting those people anymore. I'll always be doing that. Communicating with the next generation is what I've been doing for many, many years, and I'll continue to do it. So look, you know, people say, oh, television. That platform allowed me to jump into this race and get tens of thousands of young people to become members of the Conservative Party. I'm not going to stop doing that. That's the right thing for the party. The world's changed. The body politic's different now. People want different things from politicians. Number one is what they're begging for is the truth for a change. And that's what we have to do as a party.
And then I need Kevin also. We will campaign. We still have 5 weeks, and Kevin will campaign. We will campaign together. That's important.
Do you still think Mr. O'Leary is a loser?
He's a winner. He's a winner.
I love politics.
Mr. Bernier, who do you think your biggest competitor is now? Evidently, there's going to be an anyone but Bernier campaign going on now because other candidates want to win, obviously, and not everyone likes you. I'm sorry to break it to you. But who do you think the second place, the main challenger to you is? And I guess same.
The members will decide. You know, I'll do my best, and
it's a cop-out.
No, I will do my best, you know, and I have to work hard. There's still 5 weeks, and I hope I will be able to win that, but I have to be on the ground, and I will campaign, and Kevin will help me, and we'll know, but I don't know what the members will decide at the end.
Obviously, your campaign thinks it's somebody. You're not just running against everyone. Is it Kelly Leach? Is it
I'm campaigning for the ideas since the beginning. I believe in freedom, and look my platform. There's no compromise with our ideas. That's why I'm here today, and I will campaign on these ideas until the end.
You campaign
so it's a
Mr.
positive.
O'Leary.
It has been a positive campaign, and it will be always a positive campaign.
Thanks very much, guys. We got to get to the debate.
Merci. Merci.
Okay? Thank you very much.